therefore, it's time to hear from our honoree. So please welcome Guillermo del Toro.
Thank you. Gracias. And the first time I came here was in the 1970s with my family. There were people that were as weird as me, and they were here. So that gave me hope. And I think this star is for you, all of you that feel weird, to come over and sit for a moment. I don't believe in magic as so, but if I can will a little bit of myself today here in this ground, I will be here. I will spiritually be here for you anytime you want to come. Number one, I'm weird. And I really, really love the chance we almost have to be weird, come back, go back to being weird, saying screw everything, go even deeper, whatever we want to do, as long as we keep it as a nurturing thing for our souls, we deserve it. We deserve to be who we are. I want to thank Lana. You know, I've always admired and loved that she makes images with music, that it suffuses her songs with mood, intelligence, and storytelling like no other. I want to thank JJ. JJ is not my brother because we would fight a lot more if he was my brother, I know. I got into a few fist fights with my older brother. He's my half-brother, but my brother in my heart. We've been friends and supporters and counseled each other through the years, decades now.
Please welcome the incomparable J.J. Abrams to the stage.
It's an honor to be here today to celebrate not only one of the most creative and inventive minds in the entertainment industry, but one of the biggest hearts. I don't think I've ever been so instantly envious of someone's raw and gorgeous talent. I was so blown away by this voice, this vision that was crystal clear even before seeing any of his films. And so here we are on a very weird platform on the sidewalk of Hollywood Boulevard, nearly 30 years later, and I still feel the same way about you. You're a mind-bendingly brilliant creator, a multidisciplinary artist, a curator of the most remarkable collection of art, a man who celebrates otherness and tells stories of unlikely, unusual heroes with hearts almost as large as his own. His creations are often wild and twisted and sometimes terrifying, but this man I love, my only slightly older Mexican brother, this genius I admire, is one of the sweetest human beings you will ever meet. I love you, I congratulate you. This is an exciting day. Thanks, man.
Her sixth studio album is set to drop August 30th. Please welcome to the stage Lana Del Rey.
So on this day that we're honoring you, I would like to say that it's a beautiful thing to be reminded that being different is to be celebrated. And it's a beautiful thing that we have you to always remind us of that each time we go back to your instantly classic films. So I'm so happy to be helping giving you this star with JJ, and very honored to be able to celebrate with you on the iconic Hollywood Boulevard. Congratulations.
For years, the people in this town told lies about me. They locked me away, called me a monster. Now, they will get the monster they all deserve.
Sarah Bellows' book. When the stories write themselves and it all comes alive. Who came up with all this sick stuff?
The jangling man is coming.
I'm afraid that we woke something up. Sarah Bellows is a myth.
Do you know what you have done? You made her angry.
You don't read the book. The book reads you. I'm afraid I'm gonna die now.
Well, I came here first as a kid that loved movies and walked the boulevard looking at the stars. I know it sounds like a made-up phrase, but I never really thought one of mine would be here. And to be in front of the Grauman's Chinese means so much, because back then, I'm talking about late 60s, early 70s, that was it, that's the shrine. Lana, I admire to no end as an artist, and I think she's a strong artist with a strong social conscience, with a commitment. And JJ and I have such kinship. We have been together for almost 3 decades as friends, and we've seen each other go through the thick and the thin. So he's very close to my heart. It's basically like a family horror film, so you know it's gonna get intense, you know it's gonna be scary, but it's very much like a roller coaster. The safety bar is down, keep your hands inside the vehicle, but it's really intense, beautiful, with a strong theme, very needed right now, great characters, and great creatures.
Sí.
Michael. Thank you, Laura.
I'm like the night.
She says you could be in a music video. Thank you, Guillermo. ¿Quién es este?
The second thing you need to know is that I'm Mexican. And I am an immigrant. And right now, we are in a moment of great fear and great division, because that's why fear is used. It's used to divide us. It's used to tell us that we're all different, that we shouldn't trust each other. And these lies make us easier to control and make it easier to hate each other. But the antidote to that is to come together, to realize that those divisions are complete fantasies. When people say you dwell in fantasy, I say I don't. Politicians do. Churches do. I don't. I deal with facts of the soul and the stories. And as a Mexican, receiving this star is a gesture, and no gesture right now can be banal or simple. This is very important that is happening right now, because I can tell to all of you, all immigrants from every nation, that you should believe in the possibilities and not the obstacles. Ever. Do not believe the lies they tell about us. Believe in the stories you have inside, and believe that we all can make a difference, and we all have stories to tell, and we all can contribute to the art and the craft and the world in any way we see fit. Thank you very much. Thank you.
To me, scary stories to tell in the dark is kind of a mix between a modern horror movie and a throwback to the Amblin movies I grew up with, which was a lot of fun. They were based in reality, based in very grounded characters who were up against enormous problems. The collaboration with Guillermo has been amazing. I mean, he's a master storyteller that I've just over these few months I've learned so much from. Just his understanding of clarity of storytelling, how to get a character come alive on screen. Obviously, not to speak of monsters and all the stuff that we can obviously see that he loves. He's been crucial to getting everything right, and he has such an acute sense of heightening the quality of everything he touches. So I'm just I'm amazed at Guillermo. I mean, he's truly larger than life. I'm very much into suspense-based horror. So I want to build dread, I want to build a tension and let the audience know something's coming, and then hold them hostage in a way for as many minutes as I can do in a movie, and try to terrorize them for as many minutes as I can. I mean, my whole thinking when I'm directing is, what does the audience perceive in this very moment? When I'm standing on set, all I'm thinking about is, how is the audience going to perceive this? How is the audience going to perceive that? Is this readable by the camera and therefore in a movie theater? And then dread and suspense is this kind of wonderful thing that only exists in horror movies. It only really, it's like a layer to the scenes that come as an extra thing that you need to account for constantly in the way you design a scene, that isn't just from the drama, that isn't just from the activity or the dialogue or the characters. It is that horror aspect that lays on top of the movie in a way. That is the combination of all these elements plus something extra. And it comes from the timing, the editing, and the music, of course, the sound, use of sound. It's a whole process to get to that level where you really feel the dread. I hope the audience will have fun on a very core level with just relatable characters, a decent sense of humor throughout the film, just great set-piece sequences that are suspenseful and original and fun. And of course, just having a fearful, wonderful time in the theater. Obviously, it's a horror movie, first and foremost, so I really hope that the audience will come out feeling like they've been scared for 2 hours, but additionally getting a lot of things that they weren't expecting. I hope the movie feels grander than your normal horror movie, that it feels more epic, that it feels more, at the same time, timeless.
Probably the most terrifying children's book ever, I think. Honestly, not even like as a children's book, I think it's still pretty scary to anybody because it just captures the imagination in a way that makes you not be able to sleep at night. So I've interacted with the pale lady from the story The Dream, pretty close up, face to face, and that is, it freaks you out. The prosthetics, like, they have eyes that look real and she can smile. The guy who is inside the suit, like, can smile and stuff, and it's very frightening, for sure. I think there's a lot of humor in it, honestly. Like, me and Augie, we kind of play the comedic relief characters, but we have, like, such a big arc throughout it where it's almost, we're in these terrifying situations, but we're so, like, habitually drawn towards humor, and that those kind of things happen in certain scary situations, which is kind of a cool thing that I don't think most horror films really tap into, which is kind of cool with this one. It's like a whole range of emotions, honestly. It's like you can laugh, you can be scared out of your mind, and honestly, you can probably cry at the end of the day, which is really cool.
We're in the Bellows house. It's supposed to be built or occupied in 1898 by a wealthy family named the Bellows. The story in Andre's interpretation had two poles that made a difference visually. The very unreal, as represented by these wonderful illustrations by Gamel, and the very real, as represented in photographs of William Eggleston, who, favorite photographer of mine. Andre brought him up in the very first time we met, and that's when I knew this was a place where we could do some good visual work, connecting mysterious and unreal to something very, very real. Guillermo kind of let us run with the ball on the architectural specifics. He did come and look through us very carefully, look through the plans with us very carefully. And he had suggestions about things that we could improve. He did have some ideas about how to get the most out of the long corridor vista. He also had some ideas that we couldn't afford, which we ended up not doing, but with his blessing. But really, the architecture, he allowed us to sort of roam where we wanted to roam in response to the script and in response to, you know, what we could figure out about the time. This script reached into some of the scary things in real life as the sort of catalyst for all of the surreal scares that come in this horror life. And I think that's the goal that we've been trying to hit with the visual environment, where what threatens us in reality embodies itself in something a little bit more heightened and a little bit more shocking in the horror part of the filmmaking. That's what I signed up for.
I guess at its core, it's a story about a group of kids who do something that, you know, might seem innocent, but get in way over their heads with some crazy, otherworldly stuff. Well, Andre's amazing. I definitely think that he is the right director for this film. I'm sure, he and Guillermo, they're both sort of, with Andre's body of work, he's also sort of in the monster department, so I think that they see eye to eye there, and I think that Andre's, understanding of the material and his vision for it is definitely on the same wavelength as Guillermo's because of that. It's the fear of knowing there's something there, but not being sure exactly where it is. I think that fear is so universal, and it's really conveyed in that sequence, like, very frequently. You, like, are aware that there's something there, and then you see it, and then it goes away, and then the place where it should have been is shown, but then it's not, and then it's, that for me is, at least personally, that is terrifying. Yeah, that sort of fear, I think, is very instinctual.
Well, looking at Andre's movies, he's very good with tension. He's very good with that kind of dread. And even just to look at them, Jane Doe didn't have a ton of dialogue. A lot of it was told through the camera, and you get a sense that when a director can tell the story, mostly with a camera like that, he's a pretty good storyteller. So he really felt like the right fit for this movie that needed to have such strong visuals. The stories are our worst fears. So the things that you might have nightmares about, that becomes your story. The thing that you might already be scared of, whether it's based in some fact of your childhood or your development, or something that scared you as a kid, or something that scares you now, or some irrational fear that you may have, your story is written with that fear in mind. So, Sarah already knows what you're scared of, and she can get under your skin with that because she knows that you have a weakness to that thing, whatever it is. So the horror is really in our kids knowing what they fear and being confronted with that fear. Guillermo has done a lot of practical in the past, and as we've done the past several things, he likes to have every fine brush stroke available to him. So, we'll do the practical, but then at the end, of course, any little gesture or color thing or anything that you can do with CG to make it that much better, why not do it? So, again, on this, we've got all practical creatures, Pale Woman, Jangly Man, the Big Toe Corpse, Harold the Scarecrow, all designed by great sculptors, Norman Cabrera, Mike Hill, Francois Dagenet, the team at Spectral Motion. A great team with great performers in the suits as well. So that's throwback in that way. We have no all CG creatures, but there'll be some CG augmentation for sure. Why wouldn't you make the movie as good as it can be? But it seems now it's a marriage. It's going to be a marriage, and the more we can do practically, the better, for all kinds of reasons. But it's the whole toolkit.
Guillermo's very well versed in the world of monsters and creatures, and I think he has creative reign in terms of how these creatures come to life and are developed, but they're definitely influenced by the imagery. A lot of decay, like I was saying, death, touches of death. So corpse-like elements, unkempt hair, dirt, that sense of rotting, of earthiness. He's a very thoughtful director, he really takes the time to get the sequence right and get the shot right, and he wants to see the bigger picture. So I think that he brings kind of a gravity to the film, because I'm sure it would be easy to kind of run away with the fantasy aspect of the monsters, but he really makes sure that they're human as well.
we are creating or recreating some of the most cherished, scary, fun, sort of entertaining horror tales that are anthologized in those books. But we do it in a way that is seamless with the story. You don't notice. It's just the tale starts little by little and it comes to a conclusion beautifully. André is a great director and a director that directs beautiful set pieces of horror. So you have the recognizing the thing to come and elbow each other and giggle and then be really scared. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. There are two types of horror movies, ones that are disturbing and they sort of scar your soul permanently, and then there is a different type of horror movie which is like a roller coaster ride. It's fun and it's entertaining and is really thrilling, but ultimately has a humanistic spirit, and that's the type of movie André does. You are having fun getting scared. And he was perfect for this. He also is a filmmaker of supreme elegance in the way he stages with the camera and the actors. He's a very classic, very elegant, but at the same time completely unafraid to go there for the scare. Each of the creatures or the monsters or the characters that we brought to life come from an illustration by Stephen Gamel. And we tried to be very faithful to them. We wanted to do it physically. We didn't want digital creatures. We wanted to do suits, prosthetics, to put the real things in front of the camera. And each of them is executed through spectral motion, Michael Iselda's company, but Norman Cabrera sculpts two of the characters that I think riff the best with him, the corpse on the big toe and the scarecrow in Harold. And then Mike Hill, who sculpted the creature in Shape of Water, and to me is a superb character sculptor, executes the pale woman in a story called The Room, and a creature that we took from 2 or 3 stories and connected it called the Jingle Jangly Man, and is this creature that is assembled from pieces. And there's other stories that come into play, but you will see them. They're like Easter eggs. The funny thing is, every single set piece André did is scary. I mean, I love to say this as producer. I have no merit in that, but André did it. My favorite sculpturally is the pale woman in the story The Room. But every single set piece is delivered exactly as the story would want it to be.